So what about deadlifts? Here we have, of course, famous deadlifter Ed Cohen. That's not the kind of deadlifts we're going to be talking about here. You wouldn't be doing sumo-style deadlifts to incorporate into your Olympic training necessarily. Maybe some CrossFit elements might work that way, but we're going to be looking at snatch and clean grip deadlifts specifically. Now, success leaves clues. Now, it's not common or necessary, mandatory, of course. It's not. There's not a lot of classical world champions that are claiming their deadlifts made the difference. But here you see a ton of famous lifters, some successful lifters doing some very heavy deadlifts. Here we have Travis Cooper, who's one of the top-ranked lifters in the United States now, doing a snatch grip deadlift with 237 kilos. We got up-and-coming lifter from Ireland, Clarence Kennedy, doing a 220-kilo snatch grip deadlift. We have Lou from China doing a huge deadlift. I have no idea how much is on there. But the important part here is this is at the World Championship Training Hall where he's doing deadlifts. It had to be in close proximity to the actual competition day. Then we have the other Lou from China doing about a 240-kilo. There's either a clean pull or a deadlift, but a lot of times they like to do a deadlift with a little shrug at the top, sort of like a clean pull. But that's 240. He does not clean even near that much, well, about 210 or so. So that's a big jump from his actual Olympic lift. Then the crazy one here is the 290-kilo snatch grip deadlift. That is insane. That's a lot of pulling power there for the snatch grip deadlift. That is nowhere near specific to the snatch pull. If you remember that previous research in those slides that we talked about, the Russians stating 90 to 95% is all that you should pull with. This guy is not applying those methods. Here we have Russian lifter Kokliev, who's deadlifting, I believe, over 400 kilos. It's like 408, I believe, and he's doubling this. Of course, he competes in strongman and powerlifting, but he also has competed at the world-class level in Olympic lifting. He's cleaned over 250 kilos. Then we have Kendrick Ferris, who's done 225 kilos in the snatch grip deadlift for a set of 5. That's outstanding world-class strength there. Then I know he's done a lot of clean grip deadlifts as well, and I know he's deadlifted over 300 kilos as an 85-kilo weightlifter. So who's deadlifting? Well, we've got Chinese who are a huge proponent. They do like we said, the deadlifts, the classical deadlifts and the conventional pulls. Russians, they do the classic deadlifts, but with lighter percentages closer to the actual lift. They do a lot of conventional daily style, Olympic style pulls. Kokliev, who we saw, who may be doing some sort of newer school Russian programming. Of course, things would change over time and optimize, and they start to innovate their own methods. The Romanians do, of course, the RDLs that we talked about, and Klencia, who was the world champions, doing percentage-based off his Olympic lift deadlifts every single day. Then Bulgarians, of course, no pulls, but as we talked about, Vanev and his 250-kilo clean pull. The United States, Kendrick Ferris and Jared Fleming really pushing the snatch grip deadlift, clean grip deadlift, and RDLs for 10s, 5s, and 3s. But why are you really using them? What would be the point of using deadlifts? And really, you know, I use them in my own programming, and it's really to strengthen position. So we're trying to build a better position for the snatch and clean, and to build a stronger position. So on one regard, you're not breaking down your positions. Secondly, who's going to have a faster pull or potential to pull faster? Considering techniques the same, one guy deadlifts 220, the other deadlifts 250. Who can pull 200 kilos faster? Well, it will be the guy who can pull 250 faster. That's what we looked at in the force power continuum slides a few slides back. The problems, though, with deadlifting is that fatigue can occur, your back positions can break down, you get CNS breakdown, it's harder to recover from. It can break your technique down if you chronically pull that way. It can really plummet your recovery, so your classical lifts won't go as well, and you won't be able to practice perfectly and as fresh as you would if you were not deadlifting so hard and heavy and breaking your back and your posture down. But some rules of thumbs, though, on actually deadlifting is, for one, try to emulate your actual snatch and clean pull. But if you're going to be competitive with these lifts, you need to pull them out of your program at least 2 weeks out from the actual competition time, or roughly 10 to 14 days or so of no heavy pulls at all. But by no means necessary are deadlifts mandatory for success. There's been a lot of champions without them, but a lot of them are still doing them. And sometimes they get ugly. So I've found this to be quite hilarious to see some of the better world-class lifters doing deadlifts with some compromised positions here. We talked about steel spine all day long and how important that is to do the lifts here. But this is a Russian weightlifter doing an RDL with 240, and he's got a soft flex spine. I'm sure he's not real proud of that. I'm sure doesn't condone it. I don't either. My lifts get this way, of course, time to time when you're really trying to push the envelope. Likewise with a Chinese lifter here doing a snatch grip deadlift. It's about 140 kilos on the bar, and he's pulling it with a soft spine, so it's pretty interesting to find these things.